Hello, hello. Welcome into Sparkle.Sanctuary. My name is Rebecca, and I'm very glad you joined today. I hope you're doing well. So I am getting ready to work on Rainbow Little Dragons by Sheena Pike. I picked this up on the Diamond Art Club storefront on Amazon because it's a smaller kit. It's only a 51 by 61. I've had this in my stash for quite a while, and I've had it kitted up for quite a while, and I'm ready to move on. So I thought I really just need to go ahead and get this diamond painting completed. I'm excited about the bright colors. I'm really needing something colorful in my life right now. The last kit that I did was all reds and oranges, and so this is going to be just a nice different break. It is also a square and full of confetti, so I imagine this is going to take me some time to do, but I am hoping that there's just enough little bits of color blocking that it'll be fairly fun to work through. So anyway, what I thought I would do today is show you how I choose from my current stash to bling up diamond paintings on my own. And then if you would like to, in a future video, I can show you how you might go about ordering additional special diamonds online if you don't have a stash built up. So my stash has been actually built up over time. I have several diamonds, so I'm just going to pull them all out and show you. Now, I won't show you each individually one by one, but I will show you how many I have. So a lot of these are like leftover diamonds from kits that I've done previously. I did purchase a long time ago some other diamonds on I think, I know I've purchased some diamonds from like Jaded Gem Shop. I've purchased some diamonds from DP with Sparklers. I like these ones are from Jaded Gem Shop. This was a kit that I picked up from her. I just got a box of like, hey, send like a 13 or 14 random colors that I could just choose from on my own independently. And then I have purchased like individual sets for other kits, and I've had plenty of left over. So I have those and things like this was something that I was given, just lots of little things that I've accumulated over time. There are a couple in here, like I believe this one and this one came from a diamond painting company that I'm not even sure sells these anymore. So anyway, this is just like ones that I have accumulated over the last 4.5 years. So please keep that in mind. I've accumulated these over a very long time, and I do periodically go on and purchase diamonds from places like DP with Sparklers or Jaded Gem Shop or other places that sell diamonds. I don't do it very often because I typically find I get what I want out of what I have here because I have enough of the stash built up. So I'm going to show you, I did go ahead and look at this diamond painting. I'll push these aside. Actually, we'll just completely get rid of that container and push these aside. So this image has, like I said, there's a lot of colors. There's a lot going on. And so it could be really easily overwhelmed. I could do as much bling up to this kit as I want to. I'm a fairly simplistic person. I like to pick specific colors and then stick with those. Don't like to go overboard. I sometimes feel like when I fill in a whole section, it can be too much. Other people absolutely love that. And so that is an option if you choose to do it. If you wanted to go in and order, purple diamonds to fill in for an entire color, you can do that. I just feel like I want it to be purposeful, and sometimes I want it to be a little bit more scattered, and I feel like it's a little bit more flattering. I have several diamond paintings that I have blinged up my own that eventually I will do a video of several of them that are my favorites of how I blinged them up and like what areas I did and why I chose what I did. So that'll be a future video. And like I said, if you would like a video of me going online and maybe shopping for a future diamond painting, I would be willing to do that too. But today I did go ahead. So there's this color. It is DMC 5200 AB. And this is almost like, sorry, it's not, there we go. It's almost like a jelly on the back, but honestly, once you get them in the tray, they don't really look like jellies. They just look like really shiny ABs. So I'll see if I can't show you that. Okay. So as you can see, like it's really just like a pinky and gold tone to the tops of these. So it's just a jelly AB that you don't really see the jelly part of it. You just see that pink and gold. And so I was looking at this dragon. Oh, I dropped one. I was looking at this dragon, and there is a 5200 AB or 5200 drill in here, and it is white. And so all of these areas that you see that are white are going to be that. Now, I noticed when I pulled back on this, because I'm while looking at this image, I can see it a little bit more clearly, but you can see through this area, it almost looks like this dragon has a halo and it shines. And I thought it might be really cool to have this halo area of this dragon have these 5200 ABs there. That way, whenever you look at it, it'll sparkle a different color, and it's almost like a very, that fiery color is I thought would be very flattering for that area of the diamond painting. So I will put this away. Now, I do have other ABs, and that's one thing to be careful about when you're looking at blinging up a diamond painting. So I had a diamond painting that I worked on a couple years ago that I pulled out. I had a purple. It was similar to this one. I'm not sure where it is at the moment, and I don't want to take too much time, but it was similar to this one, where this is a blue, right? But when you put it into the tray, it looks like a very different color. And that one that I had placed was a purple, and I thought, ooh, a purple AB would work well. And this was a definite lesson learned, because if you look at that actually, this one, it doesn't look bad, but you see that the AB looks more blue green, right? And so this diamond itself is like a bluish purple color, not necessarily a straight up blue. I'm not sure how well that's coming across in the viewfinder, but sometimes the reflections of these diamonds don't look exactly the way you think they're going to look on the canvas. When I replaced my purple, it was 300, was it 353? I can't remember the number. Anyway, when I was replacing my very bold purple color with an AB, it had that green reflect over the whole thing, and it did not look right. This is another common one that happens a lot with this 310 AB. It ends up looking more like an oil slick. So I might have been, before I started doing this, I might have been inclined to replace all of the black ABs in this dragon's eyes or in the background with this black AB because it's a special drill. But again, that is the black AB. You see that is greens and blues, and that's actually more like what the purple ended up looking like. So I should have just shown this one to begin with. But if you see, and I don't necessarily want his eyes to have that. It's a very oil slick kind of look to it. And I think that in the eyes, that would not be very flattering. It actually might take away. Now, in a dragon, that may not be a horrible thing. I have worked on other dragon diamond paintings where I did switch them out because it just gave such a special effect. But I'm not sure that I want to do that in this one. Just because there's so many other colors going on around it, I think it would actually take away from the eyes. So that's kind of the things you want to look at. You want to look at your diamond painting and say, what do I want to enhance? What do I want to make more bold and more apparent? I really like to enhance things that are already in the image that just need a little bit extra oomph. So like I said, this little area here with the sparkles that look like a halo, that is definitely something I want to stand out. So what could happen in the rest of this image is just kind of looking at the different colors and seeing if I can spot places in the painting itself where I want a specific color to stand out, or maybe I just want to sprinkle in something into each color. So we can go over some of these. So I have a lot of this, what Diamond Art Club calls 141. It's just a slightly off-white AB. And then I have things like these that are crystals. And then this is a crystal, but it's an AB crystal. That could look really cool in some place that you're wanting to give a more rainbow effect. I'm not going to need that on this, so that's going to be a no for me. There is this one. It was a leftover from another diamond painting. It's called Denim Metallic. I think that that could look really cool in maybe the blue of his eyes. So that's a possibility. And then I have things like this 413 pixie dust. And that's just mica powder over the top of it. That can have a different effect. So I have all of these different diamonds. So what I can do, because I don't know exactly what I'm going to be changing out, what I can do is come over here and look at all of the diamonds that I have and say, I have a ton of these blacks, and I know I don't want to replace the black AB, so I don't need to worry about that. Sorry, my ring light is kind of making a weird glare. Maybe that's better. There's also a ton of this 939, so I kind of want to avoid doing that one as well. So I can look at all of these individual colors. Like here is the letter A, and I can look and see if I have anything in my stash that would remotely match that. I do have something that's similar, and because of the way this was a pixie dust drill from Diamond Art Club. Let's see if I can't. There is like a blue reflect to the top of that, so that actually may come across as more close to this color than it looks like on camera. In person, there's not such a stark difference between this blue and this green, but in person, because of the mica powder on this one, they end up looking more similar. So that is an option. I'll look and see where those go. Just double check and make sure there's no other colors that were similar. So this is my process. It may not make sense to some, it may make sense to others, I'm not sure, but I just kind of look and say, what do I have and would any of these match? And then I'll see where they're laid out on the canvas and see if that's what I want. So here is this really beautiful fuchsia color. I do not have anything in my stash that will match that except for a crystal. Now a crystal gives an image, crystal gives depth where pixie dust and ABs give light. So that is something I'm going to want to look at when I look at this. So I'll set that aside as well. And then I have a few green colors. I'll just go ahead and pull all of these greens out and see. Are there any other greens? I'll just go ahead and pull all these out and see. And honestly, when I'm looking at all of these greens, this one closest matches this color. So I think I might pull that and that one out and see if it goes well with either one of those. I also have this jelly that is a green. And when I'm looking at these, my eye is already trained to look at the tops of these, but what I recommend doing when you very first start doing this is to go ahead and dump out some of the drills into your tray. And then when you're looking at them, look at the tops of your diamonds and see what matches from that. So you can kind of see the different colors and nuances here. This is what you're looking for. What does the top of that look like on your diamond painting instead of just looking in the bags? Because honestly, that silver can really throw you off. Now, I've been doing this for 4.5 years, so I have a little bit more experience with it. So I know just by looking in the bag, I can tell a little bit better that this is probably going to match this color. So I will put this in this bag and set that aside. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull out all of the options that I could potentially replace diamonds with. And then I will show you what I end up choosing and what I don't end up choosing. So I think I don't have any other greens that will match any of these. Well, that's kind of an aqua color. Do I have any other? There. That's going to be a pretty good match for this one. Look at that. Okay, there's those. And I like to pull out colors that I know pop. Like these colors don't have a lot of pop to them, but some of these might do really well. So that is a similar color. So it doesn't have to be an exact match. It just needs to be similar enough on the top of the diamond, what the top of the diamond looks like, to match what is shown on the tops of these diamonds. I'm hoping that makes sense. I'm hoping I'm not going too fast either. I don't typically trade out browns in an image like this. What I really want to do is enhance the bright colors of this diamond painting. So let's see, I'll pull out any other pinks that I have. And see if there's any other pinks here that I might be interested in trading out. Now see, this one is a red, but when I put it in my tray, I'm going to show you that it ends up looking more pink than red. See that? It ends up looking more pink than red when the light is shining on it because of the AB coating. So that's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at these diamonds and saying, is that a fairly good match? And honestly, I think that's a pretty good match right there. So we're going to, that's more like a berry color. So I'll set that aside as well. Now, I do not have equal amounts of this and equal amounts of this, and I'll explain that if I end up choosing that. So do I have any others? It's a pretty color, but I don't think so. Okay, so I'll set these pinks aside. And then I'll pull out all of my purples. There's a lot of purples in this diamond painting because there's so much purple on the dragon. So that's something I need to be mindful of. Oh, there's a lot of purple and like purple blues. I'll just go ahead and pull some of these out. Okay, so purples into blues. Now, let's look at these. Tops of these don't look like they match to any of those. Same here. That gives more of a green and purple color that I'm not willing to do any of these ABs. So if I'm going to do a mix with these blues or these purples, I'm probably going to just rule out all ABs and only look at, that's an AB, that's an AB. Probably only look really at my crystals. Oh, there's that purple AB that has that oil slick look on it. It just doesn't look the same in person. It's not the AB. I mixed that up. So I think there's a purple. This is, so I'm going to show you in here. I don't know if you can see that color very, very well. In the bag, it does not look terribly similar to this one because of the metallic look to it. So I'm going to show you, and I'm hoping that I'm right on this one. I'm not always right. I always verify before I end up putting them on my diamond paintings. But this has a very pinky purple look that I think, yes, that matches really nicely. Okay, so that is another option. And I can do as many of these kind of videos as you would like. This is my first one doing it like this, and so I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place, and I'm hoping to kind of hone in for any questions that people might have in any future videos, because this is not, it's a thought process. It's, taking the time to think about it. And I think once I pick out these colors, I'll be able to show you a little bit more in detail. But here's another purple color. This is number 208. And I could look and see, here's a 208. Let's see if that's an exact dupe for that color or if it would work better with another color. So here is what this company called 208. And there is 208. And look at that. They did a really good job of calling that the same color. There is some depth when you look at the tray and you're turning the sparkles. There's a little bit more depth in this because it is a, because of the type of drill that it is, instead of, it's crystal instead of like an AB. So crystals have, there's a lighter sparkly part and then there's a deeper underlayer. So you could probably swap it for something like this as well, and it would be okay. You see how when you look at it, when you look at the sparkle, it has somewhat of a similar effect. It's just not quite as deep. But I think I really like the 208. I think they did a really great job matching that color. So we'll look at that possibility. And then I think that's it for the purples that I can potentially swap out. So we'll set those aside. And then blues. Oh, I forgot about these two blues here. So I do have these two blues that are crystals, and I don't think either one of them are going to be good matches for either of these colors. Yeah, these are a little bit more warm toned. This one specifically is more warm toned. If you have questions about that, I can talk more in depth about that in a future video as well. I want to make sure, yeah, I think this is all that is going to work from those. So we looked at purples and blues and pinks. let's move on to, when we did greens as well. Make sure, oh, this goes with this blue. I don't want to lose that. So, and this is that 3865 that I'm looking at. I'm going to replace with this 5200. This is actually like a slightly cream color, so I think that will, with that little bit of yellow and orange, I think that's going to go well. So we'll pull out the yellows. So these are actually both ABs. So I'm going to leave those alone. I don't want to touch those. They're already a special drill. You can swap them out for something else if you wanted to make that area have a little bit more depth, but I think this is going to be great. I did miss this red, and I do have this. That's not going to work, but yes. So I have this, like, this is supposed to be 666. It's a ruby red. So, or not a ruby red, like a blood red. It's just red. Anyway, I have this 666 red, and then I have this 498, and I think that they're going to be similar enough that I could potentially swap those as well. And then let's see, put that aside, put those aside. We'll look at these two yellows. And then if I want, maybe we can look at, oh, it looks like I missed that one too. Now, this is not a bulletproof process. Sometimes it's just trial and error and looking to see what I have. Sometimes I miss colors. But I have these, and I could potentially, not really that color. Let's see. That is almost a little bit, let's see what this color looks like. It almost has like a yellow green, like a slight green tinge to it. Yeah, that's a very, very light yellow. I think that's a little too light for what we're looking for with these. You can see what I was saying. Compared to this one almost looks more green than the tan color. It's not really green, but it almost looks more green, if that makes sense. Like a light, light, light green. This is yellow. I think that's going to be too dark of a yellow for that. This is a light yellow. Maybe this will work. Okay, so there's the yellow that I have. And then there's this. And I just don't feel like those match up enough that I could feel comfortable swapping those out, especially for when I have so many other options. Okay, so I'm going to pause here and clean this up a little bit, and then I will show you a little bit more about the diamond painting. I did go through, and I forgot about this metallic denim color in my stash. I somehow accidentally put it in the wrong spot and missed it. You guys may have seen it, but I found this color, and I think these are going to be really good dupes. And then I also was looking through my stash, and I found these sparklers for squares in midnight. Basically, it is just a round black crystal, and it is sparkler for square, so it's a little bit of a smaller round so that they can fit along inside a square diamond painting. And I thought those might be really cool for the eyes. So I have those as well. So I kind of want to show you each of these different colors, where they could go and whether or not I'm actually going to utilize them. So like I said, this one I know for sure that I want to go in this halo color to replace this, okay? That is a really good placement. And then I also want to look at the ABs that come in this kit. And there is only two. So there's that yellow and that green. And I want to see where they put these. So number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is sprinkled through here. Number 2 is sprinkled through here. Same thing with number 2 here and number 2 here. There's a couple of 1s. There's a couple of 1s and 2s. There's some 1s and some 2s. So they're sprinkled anywhere where there's like this yellow and green color, okay? So now I know I want to look at having these sparklers for squares on the dragon's eyes here. And then this denim metallic, I love this color. So let's see where they actually placed this letter. So this is the letter V. Oh, there are some of this letter V. There's very few, but there are some of this letter V in the outskirts of the dragon's eyes and along the edges of the face here. And there's some there and down the chest. And there is some sprinkled underneath. Now, this is supposed to be shadow. Down here, this is a shadowy part of the dragon. I don't want to enhance that with something like is going to sparkle and shine. So this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. Also, I don't typically enhance face areas like this because I feel like that'll draw attention to the areas of the face on the dragon I don't want to draw attention to. I want people to be drawn to the eyes of the dragon, not around the outside of the snout and the bottom layer of the cheek, because again, these are supposed to be more shadows. I don't want the sparkly in the shadows. However, there is a little bit of that here. There is a little bit of that here. And there's some up here in the top areas as well. Oh, I just dropped one. Hold, please. Okay, so I could go in and enhance this up in these areas and things like that. But again, I really just feel like that's going to be a little bit too much. So I'm really going to focus this one again on that V area of the eye. There is not very many, but it'll make the eyes sparkle. Okay, so I'm really focusing on that area. Then I'll go ahead and move these up here because I don't want to lose those ABs. So then I have this one. This is a / for number 498. And 498 / is in the ear here, on his back here, around his foot here, and here, and here. And then that looks to be it that I can see. There's some up in here. So when I'm looking at this, what I'm looking at is normally when you add a crystal like this, it adds depth. Oh, there's also a little tiny patch here. It adds depth, and I'm not sure if I want that much depth. I'm going to go ahead and put this here just in case so that I can kind of look overall where the coloring is when I'm finished, but I'm still not convinced that I want to utilize this color at all, okay? And then this one can either replace the letter P or the letter A. So I see bits of P through here, and the splatterings behind him. There's little bits of A sprinkled in the clouds. And honestly, okay, so that makes up my mind for me. Oh, I didn't have that pulled up. I'm so sorry. Okay, the little bits of A are sprinkled in this cloud that the dragon is sitting on. This is a pixie dust. So what I want to do, instead of using this letter P that I had originally thought that I might use, I'm going to use this letter A. Like I said, this looks way more blue on camera. And I think that the sparkle on top of these diamonds is actually going to lend to that really well. So what I will do, instead of replacing all of the A in the whole canvas, I'm just going to replace the A that is in this cloud here. Okay. And I may not even replace every single A. I'll explain how to do that here in a moment. So then I have this one. This is the letter H. H goes all through his body here, through the wing here. There's some H back in here. So a lot of these are just kind of sprinkled everywhere. I don't find a need. I'm not even going to bother with that one. So let's go to this one, number 104, no, sorry, letter K. Letter K is like just kind of sprinkled through the background here and here. And there's a little bit here and here. So again, that one's not one that I want to bother with, just the way it's sprinkled around. A lot of these are going to be ones that I've decided not to use. So I hope that doesn't disappoint you. I'm just trying to make sure that I get things where I want them. So this is the letter J that we'll be looking at next. Now the letter J I have as a potential jelly here. So there is J's and the stars here. There's a couple. There's one J in this rainbow on the dragon's chest. There are a few J's underneath this ear here. And it looks like there are J's in the swirls of these rainbow pieces coming up through here. And I actually really like that. So I may end up using that J jelly in those rainbows. Okay. So let me know if I've lost you or if you need additional help on this. So this one is the letter C. The letter C is through the back, through the chest, all through this dragon here. They're in the ear. I think there's so many C's that I'm going to end up missing. I think there's so much confetti I'm going to end up missing a lot of this. There's C's in the background here. I don't see any C's in, because I see a bunch of them here. I don't see them in the rainbow backs. There's one, maybe two. There's a couple. So I might look at, yeah, I think I'm going to pass on this color as well, because I think that's, again, just a little too confusing. Okay, so I've got 3 more to look at, and then I will hone in more on what's already on the canvas. All right, so this makes me think of a microphone or a stick from a drummer. I don't know what you would call that, but it's a slash with a box on the end of it, or a dot. And those are here in the chest, bottom of the foot here. There's some, oh, I don't even have it pulled up again. I'm sorry. Bottom of the foot here. There's a few through this cloud here, which might actually be really pretty. Pull this back up. There's some on the snout here, and then the cheeks and along the face. And there's some in this rainbow here, and that rainbow there, and that rainbow there. So I'm going to keep that and put that in the rainbows. So let's see, number 208. It is these 3 triangles together. Start at the bottom again. Now this has the 3 triangles. There are in the clouds down here. There's some in this star here. Then there's just some sprinkled into this wing, and then along the background here. And then the tail here. And there are some in the loops up here. So I'm also going to keep those to put those in the loops of the rainbow. And then this one is number 3. And number 3, I have sprinkled through here on this side. I have it in this star. There's some in the splatterings back here. And again, some in this rainbow. Okay, so I want to show you what I am now looking at doing. Okay, so I ended up keeping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 special drills on top of the 2 that it comes with. Okay, so now that I've said that, you may be a little bit confused, so I just want to clarify what's happening. When I look at this image, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it sideways so you can see it fully, because I keep getting out of screen. There we go, that'll help. So when I'm looking at this image, I want certain things to pop out. So the things that I really want to stand out are going to be, going to be these rainbows up in the sky, this little bit of cloud like halo on the dragon's head, the dragon's eyes, the rainbow on the dragon's chest, these stars along the outside edges, and then the paint splatterings as well. Okay, so because the dragon is already a full portion of the picture, and I just want to get a little bit more depth to some of those. So that is where I'm going to be placing my diamonds. With that said, that is a lot, right? So I'm going to give you a hint on something I've done. I've done this on 2 of canvases that I've done so far, and I ended up loving the way they looked. So what you can do, and what my plan is to do, because this is a small enough image, it's not like it's a small image by any means, but it is small enough that I'm actually going to work on this canvas starting off as a whole instead of in sections. So what I mean is that I'm going to find this color, and I'm going to go over this canvas with a fine tooth comb, and I'm going to find wherever this drumstick symbol is in the places that I mentioned. So I'm going to be looking through these rainbows. I see the drumstick right here in these places, and I'll go ahead and I'll place those, and then I'll put the plastic, and then and get that all situated in each of these sections that I want to do, and then just place the plastic back down. Now, this plastic, when you've lifted it several times, can become very sticky to the canvas because the adhesive of the canvas becomes more sticky the more it's exposed to air. Okay. So that can be a problem if you're covering it with multiple colors. If you're doing it multiple times with multiple colors, like I'm looking at doing now. I've had it happen where it did that to a canvas, and I had a hard time getting the plastic sheet off. I will say that that can be easier if you use something like cover sheets, which is something like this. It's just it's a coated sheet that's already pre-made to make for these kinds of things. But I have a hard time seeing the canvas when I'm working on it like that. So because this image isn't ginormous, it's very possible that I will just pull back like a quarter section of this sheet, maybe cut it in half, and then do this whole section with all of these colors, and then put it back, and then move on to the next section. If I have very few, like this color right here, I have very, very, very little. I already know that I just want it to be sprinkled in here. So the reason why I say work on it one at a time is because I can go through and say, I don't want all of this to go on all of the letter A's. I only want it to go on certain ones. And then that way it kind of balances out the picture. I will see if I can do a whip and chat where I kind of show that without, I guess not a whip and chat. I'm not sure. I will see if I can do, give you a video a little bit more in depth about how I will do that. I haven't actually diamond painted in several days. So I need to go ahead and put my tape on this one and get this canvas prepped. But I will see if I could possibly record a video and share with you at least placing a few of them down so you can see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I could pull this back and I can look here and say, okay, I want only to use the letter A in these clouds. And so just take this entire bag, dump it, and then start placing them randomly along here with the letter A until I've used all of these up, or until I'm satisfied with how many I've used. So I will definitely look and see about doing a video on how I do that. But this canvas is going to be one where I will probably just go ahead and work on it by putting all of the special diamonds down, aside from these two, because I know they're complete replacements. Or maybe even, because yeah, this one isn't a complete replacement. This one is not. This one is not. This one is not. Yeah, none of these are complete replacements. And so I can go through and show possibly at least a few of the colors on how I will do that. Hey, future Rebecca here. So I'm actually looking at this canvas the next day, and I had mentioned in the video that I wanted to probably do a time lapse to show my thought process and some of the placement of these drills. And just when I started looking at the canvas, it really wasn't a feasible option, at least not right now for this canvas. In a future canvas, maybe. There's just a lot going on here with a lot of different color spacing, and I thought it might be too confusing to try to show you the time lapse of my thought process. So I am back to really kind of break down what I did and show you where I placed these drills, and just kind of give you an idea of how I updated this canvas. I don't often do canvases in this format, so this may have been quite a bit of an undertaking to do for the first one, to show you how I update special diamonds. But honestly, this is how I got started in understanding and recognizing where special drills can go. So that's why I decided to go ahead and share this first thought with you, or share this diamond painting with you as opposed to a different one. So hopefully this helps some people. Like I said, I will do future videos where it is maybe a little bit less of a big undertaking and maybe less colors, but I hopefully will be able to help teach some of you and give you a little bit of a boost of confidence on, just customizing your own diamond painting. So I'll go ahead and show you what I've done. So I initially had thought that I would go ahead and place this denim color in the eyes of the dragon. And when I got to looking at the actual image itself, I had mentioned that the V's did a lot of the shadowing in the face, but I was noticing that the V's also just do a lot of the shadowing around the outside of the eye, and it didn't actually fill them in. So I actually decided against using this color. So I'll set that aside. I also had mentioned that I might end up using this 666 red in for this 498. It's a / mark. When I first sat down and I looked at this canvas again, looking at it with fresh eyes the next day, I was able to say, yeah, that's not going to work for me. So I decided not to use that one as well. However, I did use the rest of these drills, so I will show those to you. So with this letter A, I had a pixie dust from Diamond Art Club left over. It is Z3811. It was a leftover. And it just is like a light blue with almost like a green pixie dust to it. So let me get all of these off to the side so I can pull this canvas up a little bit closer for you. Sorry. So anyway, I had mentioned that I wanted to put those down here into the cloud below the dragon, and that's exactly what I did. So I will pull this up. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it with the plastic canvas there. There we go. So I'll explain this why there's writing on here, but I didn't fill in every single letter A. If you can see, so like these A's are not filled in. I just kind of started filling in a little bit over here, and then I kept working along here, and I filled it in a little bit until I got to over here to kind of manage to see how many diamonds I had left. And then I just kept slowly going back and filling these in little bit by little bit until I actually completely ran out of that drill, because I knew I wanted to fill it as much as possible. So not all of the A's are filled in, but I tried to sprinkle them just a little bit sporadically, if that makes sense. So that was the only place that I ended up putting that letter, that special diamond on the letter A. So there's one. And then this color, I have this 210. It was a / line. I substituted with 3743, which is a crystal. I wanted those to have a little bit of depth. And so I will show you where I placed those. So there is a star here. And when I had it up before, you could see that. There's a star here that I replaced those. There is in the tail of this dragon. Oh, let me get the camera angle. There you go. In the tail of this dragon, it had that symbol. And then the only other place that I added that was up in the spirals of, up above the rainbow spirals up above the crown. So in this here, you can see there's a few sprinkled here. And then there's a few sprinkled here. So yeah, I just wanted to add a little bit of those. So there's that color. And then the number 3 I have was number 993. And so I swapped that out for 959 because they were similar enough. But again, I didn't swap out the entire thing. I ended up swapping out, I sat back after I did those couple, and I looked at the canvas at where they might be. And honestly, there's only these little bits in the star here. And then up in these rainbows up here, up by the head, the crown of the dragon, that I just wanted those to be in. Like I really just kind of wanted to focus my eyes into those specific areas. So yeah, it's like just sprinkled through here and then sprinkled right there. And then a little bit here. This one didn't end up having any of that color. For the eyes, for the 310, I ended up switching out the sparklers for squares in Midnight. I only wanted those to be the center, the very, very center of the eyes, the darkest part. So that's where I put those. I'll pull that up a little bit. You can see. Okay. And then I had this 208 that I swapped out for the 208. in a crystal. That's what I'm calling these. There's different names for them on different websites, so that's what I'm just going to call them as a general. But I put it a little bit in the star here, and then there's a couple of stars underneath the dragon, so I went ahead and filled those in with those as well. And then the tail of the dragon here as well. And then I think there was a little, up in the rainbow above the head, there's some here. There wasn't any in the middle one, but there was also some here. So that's where I put those. And then I mentioned swapping out 3865. Let's focus. There we go. For these 5200 ABs. And that is where I focused along what looks kind of like a cloud crown on this dragon. And I actually really like the way that looks. My lighting isn't, there we go, maybe without the glare. There we go. So you can see I did go ahead. There's like a little XO plus here. I did go ahead and go out that far. I'm not sure that I'm going to keep this one. This one may end up being removed, but I did like the way it looked across here. And I judged whether or not to continue this AB up into this area or down into this area where there's some sprinkles based on my view from this. And it looks, I think I decided to go ahead and do the circle and the X and the plus because the crown just seems to kind of go out this way too. You know, it comes along here and then goes out there. So that's the direction that I tried to go instead of up and down, if that makes sense. So I did do a little slight bit here, which probably didn't need to be done, but I liked the way that looked. So really it's about, you know, when you place them down, do you like how they look when they're placed? So sometimes it is trial and error, and I'll come back to that. So the last color that I swapped out was for the letter Che, number 703. I swapped it out for this jelly 704. Now these jellies are actually a little bit smaller than the other square diamonds, and so those ones may end up having a little gapping, but because they're sporadic, I'm hoping that it'll end up working out. So those J's though, there's quite a bit of them in these rainbows up above the head of this dragon. So, and I think they look really cool mixed in with the other jellies in there, but I did not place those anywhere else on this canvas of this dragon. So, what I want to say is a couple things, a couple tips. One, it's okay to place diamonds down and to pick them back off and say, I don't like those there. I've done that quite a bit on several canvases. I usually give myself 3 attempts to lay down drills on a sticky area before I'm concerned about the stick. Usually canvases are pretty good and they have a decent amount of glue on them. And as long as you're pulling them off in that moment and not days later, usually it's fine. There is glue out there that you can lay down on the canvas if it loses its stick. So I've never been worried about it. So I'm hoping that other people will find confidence. You could potentially maybe lay down more than 3 times. I just won't allow myself that because I always worry that I'm going to run out of stick. But like I said, I have had multiple times where I have pulled off as many as 3 times. So, so this area I did, like I started to put diamonds up here and I pulled them off and decided not to use those. And that's often how I do this. So sometimes it is just kind of stepping, coming in, looking at it and then stepping away for a little bit and then coming back to it and saying, do I like the way that looks from a distance? So like I said, I used this quite a bit. And even after placing these special diamonds all along here, I hadn't placed these ones on his tail because I wasn't sure that I wanted to do that. And then when I came back and I looked at the balance, there are some stars over here that have these crystals in it. And I decided that I wanted something a little bit more on this side as well. And so that's why I went ahead and placed those. I am a balanced person. I like for it to look as even as possible. I really do like the way at this moment that this canvas looks. There's still going to be quite a few of the 2s and the 3s. I mean, they're just everywhere. They're over here. They're over here. They're just everywhere that are of the ABs that already came with the kit that are going to fill it in quite a bit more. So I think overall at the end of it, it's going to look really nice. So really fast, I'll tell you what I did. I ended up, there's the word up. I wrote in Sharpie on my canvas because I wanted to be able to make sure I have the right side up of this plastic because, and you can use washi tape, like you can stick a piece of washi tape. I just find washi tape falls off And I mean, honestly, this up is probably going to wipe away if I rub on it too much, but I wrote up on the front of this, and then I just pulled back the entire plastic cover sheet and I set it aside. And then I just kept flipping the canvas as I needed it, and worked on it in small areas. And then had one of my kiddos help me put the plastic back on top of it. When you pull back the plastic over and over and over again, it does get really sticky to the canvas. It's like the glue puts a layer of adhesive onto the cover sheet as well as the glue itself, and then they don't like to come apart. So that's why I did it that way. If you have total replacements for a diamond, you don't ever have to worry about that because you can just work in your normal sections that you would do. But I knew in this instance, I wasn't going to be doing total replacements, which is why I knew I needed to be able to work on the image as a whole. So anyway, I hope that information is helpful. Like I said, step back, kind of take a look at your image, look at where you would like to make those enhancements, look at what you would like to make sparkle, look at what special drills that you may already have left over from previous kits that you've completed or companies that you've purchased from, and then kind of eyeball where you would like to see some of that color go. And then if you like it, then go for it. I say try it because here's the thing. This is supposed to be for fun. Now, if it's a gift and you're worried about that, I completely understand. But this is just for me. And I just wanted to have fun with it. And I wanted to see what I could do. I didn't want to overwhelm it. It's already a very colorful image with a lot going on. And I think that all of these extra special diamonds are just going to make it pop even more. But it's possible at the end of it that it could take away some of it. I don't know. And I won't know until it's finished. So anyway, I will do maybe a post review or my thoughts on this when it's completed, or I will post a picture on my Instagram, and a final picture of what this image ended up looking like. So I hope that this has been helpful, and I'll get back to the previous portion of the video. I hope this video was helpful in some way. I hope at least it helped you pick out some of the diamonds. I do want to say, like, if you have an image that has water, I really, really, really recommend getting things like crystals because they just add depth. Like I said, when I was showing you these, when you look at this color, I'll pull this out onto the tray again. When you look at 208, in the bag, it looks like silver, but when you get it actually laying out in your tray, it is purple, yes. But as you turn it and you look at it, it just has so much more depth than just that light purple that's on top. And so it can give an image more depth. And when you use an AB, not that's a crystal, but when you use something like this AB, it brings more light. And even these pixie dust or fairy dust or whatever you call them based on the company, those also bring more light. So I hope that helped explain a little bit. Like I said, I will do a future video. I will have like maybe five images that I will show you that I have already blinged up and kind of show you what that looks like. And then maybe maybe piecing all of these videos together will help you be able to better know how to bling up your own kits. I hope this was helpful. I can definitely do this again in the future. If it is confusing or if you have questions, please leave them below. I will happily share more thoughts and more information on how to bling up your own kits in the future, whatever you need to help make this a more enjoyable, personalizable experience for yourself, because should not be stressful. This should be fun. This should be, just thought-provoking and how you can learn how to make depth and light in an image that you really, really enjoy. This image may have been a more difficult one to do because there are so many colors. So I will definitely plan a future video with another diamond painting to show how I specifically chose diamonds for another image. But yes, I will. I have a few that I know for sure that I kind of want to share how I place diamonds and why I place them, and so you can get a better idea of the difference that it can make. Altering your own diamond painting to make it yours with special diamonds. So anyway, again, I hope you found something here useful. If you enjoyed it and you did find something useful, please give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, just remember your Sparkle Sanctuary is wherever you go to take care of your mental health. So please, please, please take time for you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.